Thank you for coming to pick me up. I was working overtime and it got late, so it started raining suddenly, which was a problem. Saying this, my husband came running over to me and slid into the passenger seat without even having time to catch his breath. Drops of water fell from my hair, which was wet from the sudden rain, and they shone brightly in the street. The moment I stared at that scene, a certain conviction spread in my heart. I realized everything. Hey, let's break up. I immediately realized that my husband wasn't at work today. As expected, my husband had applied for paid leave from his company. In the end, I was being deceived. Compared to my husband, who was surprised by my words, I looked sad. I work from home, and for the 11 years since we got married, I have been walking my husband to the station. On the day when it rained heavily, my husband was dressed differently than he was in the morning. Memories of us recently keep coming to my mind. He was looking out for me, and he started doing the housework. He supported me when I was depressed, and I was very grateful for his presence. Just when I thought I could live peacefully with my husband, he was thinking of something else. The more I expected, the more sad I became. Was there something I did wrong? Was it because I couldn't do the housework because of my father? Whenever I thought negatively, my premonitions came true as soon as I stopped thinking like that. I was already tired. He got wet in the rain, so he bought it nearby. I know that's not possible. That's why my husband's unseemly excuses hurt my heart. My husband has been uncooperative with housework and child rearing until now. I was happy that he started to cooperate because he said that those were women's work. It was all a scheme by my husband. I was completely taken in. I feel my eyes are bloodshot with happiness and anger. My husband is in a panic. He doesn't seem to understand what I've done wrong. Moreover, it's something that is irreplaceable and important to me. It's something that should never be treated like that. Even my precious memories are being trampled on. My hands tighten on the steering wheel. My husband, seeing it, looks even more impatient. His appearance made me even more angry. I slowly exhaled to calm my anger and started the car. However, I still did not know that the incident that just happened was the result of someone else's plan. My name is Miyanuchi Chihi. I am 42 years old, I work in production and have a stable income. I live with my husband Takuma and our 10-year-old daughter. I married my husband 11 years ago. I work from home, so I take him to and from the station. This is our usual daily home. We bought a new house on a loan 5 years ago. Even after moving, my daily home has not changed. There are times when I think it is a hassle to take him to and from work, but on the other hand, I can take my daughter to and from work and take her to the hospital without it interfering with my work, so I like working from home. It is difficult to do this when working outside, so my husband says thank you every time he gets out of the car. However, he does not get involved in housework or childcare at all. When my husband comes home from work, he spends his time playing with his cell phone or playing games. If my daughter is crying, he just tells me, but I have never seen him deal with it himself. Because of this, my daughter doesn't open up to my husband and always clings to me. It wasn't like that from the beginning. Even though my daughter tries to be sweet to my husband, my husband pushes her away because he doesn't know how to handle a child. It hurts my heart to see my father's feelings of love trampled on. This child needs physical contact from both parents. Let's try it together. That's fine. I'm not good at it. Raising a child is a mother's job, isn't it? It's true that it's nerve-wracking to handle a small child. I understand that you get flustered when she cries without knowing why. But my daughter is already in elementary school. That's it. I feel lonely when I see my husband not trying to reach out to our daughter even though we can talk properly. I want my daughter to know her father's love. Because I love my father. How can we get along? That's my biggest worry. But recently, my thoughts have changed a little. My husband has been going out alone more often on holidays. There are various reasons. He had to work on holidays because his friends from his hometown came back. I noticed that my husband had left something behind and called his company, and they told me that he was being paid. I was not told anything. Then why did I take him to the station in his suit this morning? I began to feel suspicious of my husband. Recently, he doesn't want to have anything to do with me, not only on holidays but also when he comes home from work. I thought, maybe he's cheating on me. When my sister Kaori called me, I had a quick consultation. You're overthinking it, big sister. He wouldn't cheat on me. My sister never comes to visit us. I live with my father at my parents' house. My sister, who is 10 years older than me, was raised in a spoiled environment and is a child who wants to receive all of her father's love. When I talk to my father, she immediately brings up her own story. She doesn't feel comfortable unless she has what I have. She's the kind of child who asks her father for a low price to get cosmetics and cell phones that are not appropriate for her age and brags about them to her friends. Speaking of boasting, my husband is the same. My husband works for a subcontracting company, but the name of the company is similar to that of a major company. When my sister asked where he worked, my husband said the name of the company. As expected, my sister misunderstood that working for a big company was amazing. Instead of correcting him, my husband replied, "Yeah, I guess so." I kept quiet, thinking that he probably wanted to keep an eye on me. Even if my sister misunderstood, it was nothing to me. Since then, he has not corrected the lie. My husband's obviousness is not something that has just started. When I was a student, he would invite me out on dates, saying that he would pay for them, but there were times when he didn't have enough money. He said that he had good grades on tests, but he would receive stars without telling me. I'm sure he is keeping an eye on someone else somewhere. Yes, my biggest concern about cheating partners is how to get my husband and daughter to get along. But if my husband is honest, I don't need to worry. A man who betrays his family doesn't need his daughter's trust. My father raised me and my sister alone after my mother died. While working, my father prepared our meals, wiped the school rags, ironed the lunchboxes, and did everything for me, even though men are not good at it. When I became a teenager, I sometimes blamed my father for not having my mother. But he still took good care of me. We weren't rich, but my heart was filled. Now that I'm in the position of a parent, I feel that my father is great. Then I received a call that my father had collapsed. I rushed to the hospital. My father was lying in bed, and his tea-drinking buddy and a neighbor were by his side. They said they called an ambulance because he suddenly started to suffer. I thanked the uncle and looked for my sister. He wasn't there. I didn't call my sister, thinking that she knew. Well, she must have come to the hospital. I immediately called my sister, but she didn't answer. Maybe she couldn't answer because she was at work. After leaving a message for my sister, I went to hear the teachers talk. My father was diagnosed with an illness and was told that he didn't have much time to live. My mind went blank. Even my father would be gone from us. My kind and respected father. But now is not the time to dwell on it. It was decided that my father would stay in the hospital, and I had to go to my parents' house to get the things I needed. I was able to contact my sister after dark. My sister, who had arrived at the hospital after work, ran over to my father as he lay there. When I told her about the doctor, she was crying. My sister came, so I got ready to go home. My sister said that she was busy at work now, so she wanted me to keep my father company from tomorrow onwards. I was worried about my daughter, who was my only father, but I agreed. I hadn't seen my sister at the hospital since that day. My father was destroyed within a week. I held my father's hand until the very end. Thank you for everything. Get along with your mother. Stay by my side from now on. I wasn't sad about losing my father, and my next mission was waiting for me. Arranging the funeral. As usual, my sister isn't here. The funeral is being held. My sister prepares a van over my father's head. What have you been doing up until now? You're part-time, right? Are you that busy? I had work, and I was busy with other things too. It's okay because I've come this far. From the hospitalization procedures to preparing for the funeral. On top of that, I had almost no time to sleep because I had to take care of my daughter. Surprisingly, it was my husband who supported me. He actively cooperated with meetings and arrangements with contractors on my behalf, as I was feeling more confident. I reflected on the doubts I had recently about my husband. There's no way that someone who treats me so kindly would cheat on me. My husband also did the housework while I was at the hospital. Thanks to my husband, the funeral went smoothly. I was so tired after sending my father off safely when my sister came to declare, I'm going to take the family home. By taking it, you mean you still want to live there? That's fine. I told my sister that I was going to my parents' house tomorrow to organize my father's belongings, and we went back to our apartment. Next, I visited my parents' house to sort things. The things he had were letters from his daughters, symptoms, family photos, fishing poles and camping equipment for the whole family, and even these things that he had carefully kept. Memories of my father came back to me. Feeling nostalgic, I found a box in the corner. When I opened it, I found my father's river shoes inside. I miss it. My father wore these shoes for our entrance ceremony and other events. He wore them for formal occasions like my wedding. He kept them in a box and treasured them for a long time. I wish I had given her one of the shoes as a gift. The shoes were old, but they were oiled and had a nice finish. When I think about the fact that he may have kept them for my wedding, tears come to my eyes at the reality that the owner of these shoes will never come back. Then my sister came back. Big sister, everything in this house is mine, so don't take anything. What's that? You don't want these shoes either? I'll take them to a buyer next time. I said that it won't be much money, and I don't care about the other things, but I just want one of the shoes, but my sister wouldn't give in. I went home and told my husband about this. Don't you want to spend your time surrounded by your father's things? No, it's not. I want to sell your father's things and make money. That girl wants money. But unlike us, Kaori is alone. Let her do what she wants. I decided to give up on the shoes with words. It's true that I only have one sister. No one supports me like I do. No daughter I don't love. I decided that if I could get some money and buy some delicious food to cheer up my sister, that would be enough. The only salvation from the sadness of losing my father was the change in my husband. After my father died, I was deeply depressed because my sister and I had a conflict over the foreign food. At times like that, my husband was by my side and healed my heart. He helps me with the housework, unlike before. He makes mistakes, but I'm happy that my husband makes an effort. I didn't know housework was so hard. I couldn't imagine it with my previous husband. Maybe he wanted some time alone because I complained to the gods. I should have reconsidered myself without suspecting cheating. There is still a wall between my daughter and my husband, but maybe my daughter will grow attached to my current husband. It was a chance my father gave me. I began to feel new hope. A few days later, as usual, I waited for my father to return at the station. It was raining that day. I was watching people coming out of the station with umbrellas. Among them, I saw a figure running straight towards me. My husband gets in the car. It started raining suddenly, and it was hard because I didn't bring an umbrella. You got pretty wet even with this distance. I wonder if your socks got wet too? I feel a sharp pain in my chest when I see the shoes my husband is wearing. They are different shoes from the ones I wore this morning. I ask with a trembling voice. My husband said that he bought new shoes because they got wet in the rain. I looked at the shoes and thought for a while. Let's break up. My husband is surprised by my words. The shoes are carefully polished. They were undoubtedly my father's river shoes. Yesterday I went to my parents' house and talked to my sister. I didn't think about my sister's feelings. I apologized and told my sister that I hope we can make some money. I found my father's shoes left in a box at the entrance and suggested to my sister. I have some time tomorrow, so let's go to a recycle shop together. I'll take you. I have plans tomorrow, so we'll do it another day. That's what I just said. The story that my husband bought new shoes is a lie. And it's true that my husband is cheating. My husband is cheating with my sister. Today he met with my sister at my parents' house, not at work. I look at my husband, holding back tears. I can't stop shaking with anger and sadness. I know. Where were those shoes? I hear my husband take a breath. I silently pick up my cell phone and call. Thank you for your help. I'm Miyano's wife. Oh, hey. My husband starts to panic when he realizes that I called his company. Yes, Miyano's today. Is that so? I'm sorry for the mistake. I say hello, hang up the phone, and glare at my husband. My husband hasn't come to pick up the money today either. The more I calm down, the more my husband's breathing becomes heavy. My daughter is waiting. I silently start the car. Silence flows until we get home. I don't say anything, and my husband doesn't know what to say. He's found out that I took a day off from work, and as long as I know where the shoes were, he probably can't make excuses. My body was shaking with anger and sadness. Through my father's half, the betrayal of the people I love is revealed. What is a new start? What is going to work out? I was a fool to have believed in my husband, and even my sister betrayed me. I'm a frustrated fool. Negative feelings well up in my heart endlessly. When I got home, I waited as cheerfully as possible. I must not worry my daughter. I finished dinner while listening to my daughter's school events with a smile. After that, I told my daughter that I was going to my parents' house for a bit, and I put my husband in the car and headed to my sister's house where she was waiting. My husband was also working at home and behaving cheerfully, but when he was alone with me in the car, he sat quietly again without saying anything. When we arrived at my parents' house and opened the front door, my sister greeted me with a smile. I thought you would notice right away, big sister. She said that and laughed at me. Did you know this would happen? I was surprised. My husband suddenly became cheerful and took a deep breath. My sister looked at me provocatively. Can you explain? I looked straight at my sister. My sister confessed that she had purposely made my husband wear one of my father's shoes so that I would find out about his affair. So Takuma and I love each other. Too bad. My sister puts her arm around my husband's. I look at my husband, grinning without any remorse. Why did you help me when my father died? I was just trying to distract you so that you could keep all the assets for yourself. I'm not going to be serious about you. They both laugh at me. My sister's triumphant face makes me feel an indescribable hatred. I want to hit them both. If I don't, I'll be so frustrated I'll cry. I clench my fists. It's no good. These two aren't worth hitting. I'll be patient. I tell myself. Kaori, you're going to ask for a divorce, right? And Takuma, it's okay. We'll get alimony for the divorce. You think alimony will scare us? Don't worry. I'll pay it off. With that, Kaori went back to the room. I look at my husband's father's shoes. Tears flow down the book, feeling that her memories with her father have been hurt. When my husband saw that, he began to misunderstand. I'm sorry, Chihiro. I wanted to live happily with you. But Kaori-chan is an attractive person. It can't be helped. I ask without looking my husband in the eye. How long have you been dating Kaori? Her wish was before she entered elementary school, so don't bring up your daughter's name. Enough. Itsuki reaches his limit. At a time like this, he mentions my daughter's name, and I hate Oyasama. Since 4 years ago. But Takuma said he's been interested in me since the first time he met me. Saying that, Kaori hands me the divorce papers. Of course, my husband Ran has already filled them out. I received the divorce papers from Bukirabo and left the house. The moment I got in the car, tears flowed endlessly. I was so frustrated and miserable. What was the point of my 11 years of marriage? Wasn't my daughter born out of love? Now she's been a child who likes to steal my belongings since she was a child. This time, the same thing happened again. I just wanted to realize that I had a happy family. I went home and opened the divorce papers when my daughter wasn't looking. My eyes landed on my husband's familiar handwriting. My husband's face from before was scattered. I felt deeply disappointed in my husband's attitude, which didn't even look at my daughter. I don't need this. I fill out the wife's section of the divorce papers in one go, for myself and my daughter, and push for rebellion. I decide to make a balance sheet for this distorted relationship for my daughter's sake. I put the divorce papers I had finished writing in an envelope and called my daughter. I don't know how accurately I should tell her, or how much she will understand. But I still need to tell her about us. Because her father will never come back to this house. The next day, I see my daughter off to school and then head to the city hall. I remember how my daughter looked yesterday, and I'm sure the mothers are getting divorced. I'm fine with being with my mother. I already knew the word divorce. Kids these days are so mixed up. And I felt a little relieved that she wouldn't feel lonely without her husband. She answered openly, as if she really thought that, not just trying to hold back. Maybe that was the trust between those two. If it was going to end like this, I'm glad I didn't try to force them to get along. I filed for divorce, and my 11-year marriage came to an abrupt end. Yesterday, she said she would pay the alimony, but I called my sister, thinking that if they threw a curveball, I'd have to ask a lawyer. When I told her that we were divorced and the amount of the alimony, my sister quickly hung up the phone, saying that we had to celebrate today. 3 days passed, and the two of them transferred the alimony to me. I don't want to have anything to do with those two anymore. I hope this ends here. My sister can live somewhere I don't know about. I have a daughter. We'll continue to live together happily. Let's live happily together. It's a waste of time to worry about my ex-husband and my sister. I don't want to live while hating people. I've been feeling positive for the first time in a long time. Trouble comes suddenly. My sister and ex-husband came to my house in a panic. They are no longer relevant to me. I don't want to let them into my house, but it's annoying when they make noise in the hallway. I let them in. Hey, big sister, what's going on? Why didn't you tell me that Takuma doesn't work for a major company? You lied. Is that why you're so anxious? I sigh and answer. Because there was no need to tell me. Was your parents' house a rental? You owned it. You didn't, what? You didn't hear from the smell? That's right. That's why you have to pay the rent. My sister yells at her ex-husband that she can't live with such a cheap price. Her ex-husband gets angry and says that's not what they said. It becomes clear that both of them believed in the other's image and built a relationship based on calculation. I thought objectively that they were similar. They both said nice things to keep each other together. I borrowed money for alimony, thinking that Takuma would pay it, but I borrowed and paid it for that house and my father's inheritance. When I heard the word inheritance, my sister turned to me. Dad's inheritance? Well, there was a little. Enough to hold Kaori's wedding. But it was almost gone with the hospital fees and the funeral. When I told my sister the amount, she got angry and said it was impossible. And she started to get anxious thinking about what will happen next. My ex-husband also suddenly became quieter. My sister was wondering how they were going to pay the rent. But after thinking for a while, she spoke. Wait, that's strange. With Takuma's low salary, there's no way they could pay the rent for an apartment like this. He must actually be thinking about something else. My ex-husband was shocked that she had said something like that. My ex-husband suddenly became speechless. I was watching him calmly. While I was hoping he would do it somewhere else, I was enjoying it. I looked at the two of them with a little smile, and my sister glared at me. Takuma, What if I said it myself? Or should I say it? My sister glared at my ex-husband immediately at my words. In fact, I wasn't the one who was paying the mortgage. It was 1,000-fold. My ex-husband and sister were shocked to find out that neither of them had money and started to criticize each other. Once the acquaintance is over, the two calm down and my sister looks at me. If this continues, I'll kick them out of that house. I'll be kicked out. Big sister, can you do something? You're not the only sister. Please. Can you give me back the compensation? You can live without that money. Their former arrogant attitude has disappeared, and now they are asking for help in a shameless state. I am being pushy. What are you saying? It's not the result of lying to each other. Do you know who you're asking? A traitor. The two are silent. I tell them to do it with kindness and kick them out of the house. I feel a little better. Because I realize that they are worthless enough to feel regretful. Seeing their ugly argument reminds me of my father's words. It was when my mother and father told me old stories when I was little. My mother smiled and said that when I was born, we had a hard time because we didn't have money. If that's the case, you can't buy new clothes or go out, I say. Then my father said that there are things more important than money. I can now understand those words. After a while, it seems that the two of them broke up. My ex-husband asked me to get back together. I'm sorry. I really love Chihi. I'm not stupid enough to believe his words. I firmly refused. When I told him that he was persistent and that I would report him to the police, he disappeared somewhere. Next was my younger sister's turn. She asked me to help her sister who was deceived, and said that I only have my older sister. I'm sure that's right. We are the only two sisters. But don't you think it's a shame that her husband was taken away by her younger sister? My younger sister puts aside what she did and plays the tragic heroine, saying that she is terrible even though she is her older sister. She got angry at me for not changing her attitude. I don't want my older sister to make fun of me. I can't forgive my older sister being the only one who is happy. Just when I thought she was playing the victim, she goes back to her usual cheeky younger sister. Now she won't cling to me no matter what. I was worried about what my sister would do if she was kicked out of the house, but it was my parents or my sister. I'm sure she'll sleep on the fence by herself. I ironed my daughter's lunch without thinking too much. My daughter talked to me. She seems to be looking forward to going to the zoo tomorrow. I'll make lots of good memories with me. My daughter and I started living together. Far from feeling lonely without her father, I feel like she's become brighter than before. I told my daughter again what happened with my ex-husband. That I divorced my father. I told her that she had found someone else she wanted to cherish more than her mother. And that she was worried about her hopes and had told her mother not to give up on her hopes. In reality, I didn't care about my daughter at all, but I didn't say that. I told her that if she wants to see her father, she should go to her mother. My daughter says she doesn't want to see him now, but maybe it's because she wants to see him for some reason in the future. Aren't you lonely, mother? You're not lonely at all because you have hope. Let's go and play in lots of fun places from now on. She's a kind girl who cares about me too. My daughter now talks a lot. Maybe she didn't talk much when she had her ex-husband. She sings in a good mood and dances with everyone. I was happy just to see my daughter living a carefree life. I think it was the right decision to get divorced. Even if the affair hadn't happened this time, living with a father who had no interest in her may have had a negative impact on my daughter. She shouldn't grow up thinking that her father doesn't like her or hates her. I think that she will feel loved and develop a sense of self-affirmation. I want my daughter to grow up with plenty of energy. One day, I was engrossed in my work at the end of the day when the phone rang at home. I looked up at the sound and looked for the clock. It was already this time. My daughter would be coming home soon. I checked the time and answered the phone. Then an unfamiliar male voice said that he had taken care of my daughter. Kidnapping. My daughter was kidnapped. My mind went blank. My heart was beating faster and I was so anxious that I felt like I was going to cry. Just imagining what happened to my daughter makes me fearful. I can't move my body. I want her to be safe. My daughter is asking me for help. She must be crying and shaking even now. My hair is turning red. If you value my daughter's life, prepare 30 million yen within an hour. I give it to her. There is no way I can prepare that much money in such a short time. What is the criminal's purpose? Maybe he just wants to kill my child by making unreasonable demands, knowing that it will never be fulfilled? A brutal murderer, please. Don't do anything to my daughter. Did I say the words properly? My face is a mess with tears. I was. My daughter's smile comes to my mind. He says that if I call the police, we don't know what will happen to my daughter, and then hangs up the phone. What should I do? There is no one I can rely on anymore. I have to solve this alone. I feel hopeless, but I muster up my courage. I think about how to get myself together for my daughter. I desperately need to prepare the money, so I go to the bank and ask for Yuji's help, offering collateral, but they refuse, saying that it's difficult to pay for the body money on the same day. I can't give up. I have to act to save my daughter. Act. There's no time. I go back home and think of every possible way. I keep calling my relatives and acquaintances while crying. I'm told that no one can prepare a large amount of money, and I'm overcome with despair. My daughter is still fighting in fear. Just thinking about her makes me feel uneasy and sick. But I have to think of something. Should I be honest and buy time, or lie about the weight with a magazine? There's no way I can do that when my daughter's life is in danger. I'll go to the meeting place and persuade the criminal. Should I report it to the police after all? Various thoughts come and go. If I had a father I could rely on at a time like this, Dad would call out to Dad in his heart. No, maybe he was already saying it out loud. Then, I hear the sound of the front door opening with a bang. Ma! I'm home. I turn to the familiar voice and there is my daughter standing there. How could my daughter be safe here? My daughter returned home safely. I hugged her while crying. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I don't care about my daughter's confusion, I just cry. Just as I was feeling relieved, the phone at home rang again. An emergency call came from the elementary school and I was told that my daughter's classmate had gone missing. The teacher said that there were reports of a suspicious man taking her away when she was going down the stairs. The classmate was a girl wearing a pink coat just like my daughter. I did. The kidnapper had mistaken my daughter for the kidnapper and taken her. There is no doubt that there is a girl who is fighting fear in place of my daughter at this very moment. And there is also a mother who is anxious because her child has gone missing. I told the teacher what had happened and was instructed to go to the police immediately. I immediately called the police and explained in detail the conversation I had had with the kidnapper. Just as the official arrived at my house, the kidnapper called again. I followed the police's instructions and replied that the money was ready. In stark contrast to the previous phone call, I found out that my daughter was safe. Right now I was filled with anger. I really wanted to yell at him. Threatening someone with a child as a shield is what a lowlife would do. But I haven't confirmed that the girl is safe yet. I don't know what will happen if I act strong here. I hope she is safe. I speak to the criminal as if I am scared. The person on the phone specifies. I head to the location and wait for the criminal to arrive. I am nervous and my body is scared. A young man approaches me while looking around. He asks if I am the mother and takes the bag I was carrying. The criminal returns the kibbies and runs to Hitom-san. However, the police are lurking nearby and the man is quickly arrested. The location of the hidden gate was identified thanks to the man's instructions, and the classmate was safely rescued. The girl and her mother are reunited, both of them crying big tears of joy. Seeing that, I feel relieved. As I regained some composure, I suddenly thought. The criminal who called my house even though he kidnapped a girl who was not my daughter. In other words, it wasn't just anyone, but he wanted to kidnap my daughter and get money from me. When I saw the criminal's face, I didn't know him. The young man had no acquaintances or connections. Why did he target me? Perhaps he found out that I had received a large sum of money from somewhere. My daughter told her parents at school that her parents had divorced, and a child overheard. She thought she had received some compensation, so she rebelled and demanded a much larger amount. You wouldn't think that the amount of compensation was that high. By the way, her ex-husband had asked for the money back. So her ex-husband was dead. Surely he couldn't mistake his daughter for someone else. What about his sister? She's reckless, but she's related by blood. No matter what, she wouldn't make her daughter feel scared. And she must know that if she did that, I would get in trouble and she wouldn't be able to cooperate with me in the future. Even though the case was solved, I was still in a state of anxiety. The police investigation revealed the shocking truth. It turned out that the young man was only hired on a dark website, and it was my sister who planned the kidnapping. I nearly collapsed from my chair in shock. And the feeling of anger slowly started to grow. How dare you, my sister, lay hands on my daughter? My sister remembered my daughter from my father's funeral, but she couldn't pinpoint her exact identity. So she chose the wrong person to kidnap. My sister tried to make my daughter feel scared and make me feel uneasy to get money from her. Today was the day I really started to hate my sister. Even though we're family, I would rather side with my daughter than my sister. I'll never forgive her for targeting my precious daughter. My sister hasn't been arrested yet. She's hiding somewhere so the police can't find her. When I called my sister's cell phone, it was off. I decided to send her a message. I didn't know she needed that much money. I'll prepare the money. I'll help you, so let's meet up. I knew my sister would fall for this. Because she has no other choice. My sister is running away from the police. Of course, the police are posted at her part-time job, and the police are patrolling the business hotel and the internet cafe. My sister has no intention of going anywhere. Even if she goes far away by train, her money will run out there. I'm sitting in an empty coffee shop. It's almost time to meet up. I look towards the door and see my sister coming in. When she sees me, she turns her face down to avoid people's gazes and comes to my seat. She looks just like a criminal on the run. My sister sits down and looks at me. Thank you for contacting me, big sister. I'm in trouble. I took a sip of coffee. I said that an apology should come first. I'll endure it. I've prepared the money. You can live for a while. But you're the one who kidnapped an elementary school student this time, weren't you? It can't be helped. If you don't do that, big sister won't give me money. I felt like I was alive when I thought about my daughter being scared, but my voice was trembling with anger. What do you think of me? Not satisfied with just my husband, he's trying to get his hands on his daughter too. My daughter is safe and she wasn't kidnapped, my sister said, sighing. I threw the coffee I was drinking at my sister's face. My sister screamed in surprise. Hey, what are you doing? You almost got burned. You've always done bad things, but you've never done anything wrong. It's been like that since I was little. She was always thinking she was number one. She bullied classmates she didn't like, stole my things, and told my father that she felt sorry for him and tried to get him on her side. It seems that my sister is using me for her. I work full-time and my sister works part-time at a local supermarket. My sister had interviewed at the company where I work, but was not hired. That may have influenced the story. But that was when my sister was still in her teens. That was more than 10 years ago. She's grown up now, but that hasn't changed at all. Then the police came in. My sister was arrested right in front of me. You tricked me. My sister resisted while the police held her arms down. You don't have any money, do you? Get the police's help. I hope she'll reflect on her actions next time. My sister was taken away, going crazy. I watched it with a cold eye. So many things were taken from my sister. Recently, it was my father and my husband. I can't let my sister take away any more of my precious things. And I have to explain to my daughter again that it was my aunt who kidnapped her. I feel heavy-hearted. My daughter will be disappointed. My daughter was surprised. I didn't have much contact with my sister, but she was shocked when I heard that my mother's sister kidnapped a classmate. She asked me why I kidnapped her. Should I tell my daughter? In fact, she was kidnapped instead of my daughter. I'm worried about my daughter's mental state. But it will come out someday. I was filled with the desire to lie. It would be better to pretend to be surprised together with her when it comes out. I wonder if the aunt wanted to kidnap me because she called me at this time. With these words, I decided to be honest. I pick up a few things and tell her that she was trying to get money from me by using my daughter as a shield. I'm worried about my daughter's reaction. She's a troublesome aunt. My daughter didn't suspect anything and expressed her thoughts on receiving it as it was. I was relieved that my daughter was not too badly affected. I also went to apologize to the kidnapped classmate. This will probably be the last time I go to apologize because of my sister. Or rather, I can't help but hope that I can meet her at the end. I really can't accept it if my sister's actions make not only me but also my daughter feel bad. When I arrived at the classmate's house, I explained the situation and said my feelings sincerely. The girl was surprisingly calm and her parents also thought that I was not to blame. They treated me with a calm attitude. I'm really glad she's a strong girl. I hope she doesn't become traumatized. Since it's a rebellion within the family, I'll give her some money as compensation. I hope this doesn't affect my daughter, but in the worst case scenario, I'll make her change schools. I thought that if I married and left my sister, I would live without dating her. But the reality of apologizing to people like this makes me sigh. I want the troublemaker to spend his time inside me. This story was in the local newspaper. It was a hot topic at elementary school. It seemed like it was only a matter of time before it was revealed that the culprit was the sister of the classmate's mother. Perhaps it was just the weather. If things continued like this, the daughter would be evacuated because the sister committed a crime. At that time, it was discovered that the teacher and the parent were having an affair. In an instant, the news about that story was all over the place. At this time, I was grateful to the teacher and the parent. And because it was on the news, I started receiving calls from troublesome people. When I looked at the display on my cell phone, I saw my ex-husband's name. He said that Kaori had committed a kidnapping, and asked if I was okay, but he was rude to me, saying that I was okay, and he tried to hang up the phone. He told me to wait and asked me to meet my daughter. I've never worried about my daughter before. It's obvious that there's confusion. My daughter doesn't want to see you, so stop acting like you care about her. I'm her father. I have the right to worry and the right to see her. When is convenient? I'm dumbfounded. My ex-husband continues the story on his own. He's flaunting his fatherly rights. Hey, this month's child support hasn't been paid yet. Also, Kaori might be saying that she committed the crime because she was deceived by you. My husband can't say anything back. He must be starting to worry about his daughter this time. I say, well then, and hang up the phone this time. I took a deep breath, thinking that this was the end of the story. 1 month after the incident, both my daughter and the girl who was taken away in her place are attending school and doing well. I'm really glad that they were both able to overcome the shock of the incident. My ex-husband called me to say that he decided to work part-time at night as well as during the day. I told him to get results and hung up the phone. I'm completely over my ex-husband. My ex-husband calls me every time I turn him down, but I've gotten better at dealing with him. I make him carry out his duties like a scary boss. It seems like he's working hard to pay monthly child support in addition to his debts. The alimony paid by my ex-husband is saving money for my daughter because I want her to do what she likes in the future. I want to support him as much as I can so that he doesn't have to be shy about me. My sister is in prison now. I can't forgive her yet, but I'm thinking about visiting her someday. Because we are the only ones she hates. Because of my sister, my father's belongings are gone. When she was kicked out of our family home, my sister must have sold everything that could be profitable. Did she throw away everything that didn't make money? I'd like to ask her about that too. Not a day goes by that I don't think about my father. We have a picture of my father and daughter hanging in the entranceway. My daughter always greets the picture before going out. I wonder what my father would think if he were alive today. Would my father ask me to forgive him because he spoiled my sister? Would he scold me for turning her over to the police, saying that it would be the spirit world to do so? No, no matter how much my father is kind to my sister, he would never forgive him. It's insane to make a move on my sister's husband and kidnap someone else's daughter. Even so, he may have brought snacks to the prison where my sister was every day, but my father prioritized us and our daughters, and allowed us to live a life where we didn't feel inferior, even though we were single parents. I'm proud of my father, and I want to raise my daughter like that. My work is going well. I tell my coworkers that I got divorced and that my sister got arrested. I was somehow glad that he didn't show me what he was doing because he said that even though he works from home, there is a drama. I didn't want him to worry about it. I will raise my daughter well with my own power. I will live happily so that she won't feel lonely even without her father. I make dinner with my daughter while thinking about such things. My daughter laughs and I laugh too. You and Mom are the happiest. These words make me smile from the bottom of my heart.